Hey, this is Andrew Lim inviting you to go out on a limb. Hello from JFK Terminal 7. I'm super excited today because I'm about to take one of my favorite airlines to Asia. It's all Nippon Airways, ANA. It continues to be the most underrated airlines, I think, and it's creeping up on the all these different airline awards listings like Skytrax. But I'm really excited because I'm gonna fly the room today, and the last time I did it was pre-COVID. So this is the product that's been around for maybe 4 or 5 years. I just want to see how it's aging, if it's aging well. Actually 4 or 5 years is not too old of a product, but I'm glad to be revisiting it. So I'm gonna do ANA, and actually this terminal brings back a lot of memories because United, when they were flying out of JFK, used to operate from here. And I remember the ANA lounge is right next to the United Club or United Lounge. So I wonder how those nice United Lounge ladies are doing. They're probably retired. But anyways, Terminal 7 JFK really brings back memories. So come go out and live with me as we do ANA The Room today to Haneda Airport. Folks, before we start, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notify button for new contents that I upload weekly. Thank you. So ANA Lounge in Terminal 7, I believe, uses space from the OBA Lounge as well as the United Club. Upon entrance, there was a first suite lounge to the left and business class lounge on the right. So interestingly, the lounge is named Horizons T7 Lounge. The first section that greeted me was the buffet style dining area, and to the left is the restroom with another dining area next to it for, I think, those who actually plan to drink a lot of beverage and do not want to walk that far. So there is a TV lounge area that seems very exposed and is located right across from the bar. The second section of the lounge has a big work desk for with different USB ports to plug in, as well as lounge chairs for guests to relax, and also an area with round tables for guests to look at each other and talk to each other. And also a shower facility that does not appear to be open. So let's talk about food. So food's pretty basic here with cookies and snacks and the selection of, you have a soup, salad, pasta, and a chicken curry dish. It was decent for a pre-flight meal. So time to board, there was a lot of people here in the boarding area as the flight was almost booked to capacity, with business class being booked full, but the boarding process was actually done in an orderly fashion and a long jet bridge to actually walk on. I was greeted warmly upon entering the aircraft and was directed to my favorite seat, 5A, in the first mini cabin of the Boeing 777-300ER aircraft. So let me show you how the seating configuration is for the room on this aircraft, thanks to the detailed seat mat by our friends at Aerolopa. So there are 3 cabins for business class on this aircraft, with 2 mini cabins as bookends for the larger cabin in the middle. The first mini cabin provides the most privacy and puts you closer to first suite if that really matters. So the seat provides 2 windows providing much light. So let's do a seat tour. So with a generous seat width of 35 inches, the seat feels wide, and there is a USB port to juice up your device next to you. The footwell was really wide, wider than the cubby hole on SQ seats, if you ask me. There is also a little storage space under there. Seat function control, easy to access, although one actually stopped working mid-flight. More to come on that. In the front, there are more outlets for your electronic device, and I love the space between the cover and the inner wall so that your cables don't get crushed. Such detailed considerations only the Japanese can think of. On top of the charging station, there is a little cabinet with a vanity mirror on the side to make sure you look your best at all times. There is a little storage space below the TV monitor with a meal light and a clothes hanging hook to the right, or jacket hanging hook. The tray table is wide and easy to deploy, and on the left is where you can find the remote control of the entertainment system if you decide not to use the touchscreen feature of the gigantic monitor. Speaking of the TV monitor, is a 4K 24-inch HD screen featuring a great array of Hollywood movies and, not surprisingly, Japanese movies. Now, what's disappointing though is the world movies, which I only found 3. So there's got to be more than that. So the screen is so wide and high definition that I was actually worried for Adam Driver as the dinosaur made its approach. So the headset given was no Bose headset and was a bit problematic, at least for me. Now, more to come on that. The windows are double shaded, which is great. Now, for passengers' comfort, ANA gives out slippers, 2 pillows, 1 mattress pad, and a blanket. Now, for the amenity kit, they use Globetrotter, which is my favorite, but I was disappointed to learn that the one given on this flight was not the case one. Instead, it was a pouch consisting of all the standard items one would actually find in an airline amenity kit. The great thing about this Boeing 777-300ER aircraft is that there are air vents on every seat so that you can actually control your own temperature. As you know, Japanese airlines love to keep their cabins warm and toasty. The room comes with 2 sliding doors which you can actually deploy with the touch of a button, but to restore them in their original position, you have to just use your hands to push them back to the original position. Now, I don't like that there's actually a little gap in between these 2 doors. The room was launched in 2019 and it is already showing its age. Pre-takeoff drink of sparkling wine or OJ was actually offered, and instead of hot towel, a wet paper napkin was provided. Now, ANA offers a great in-flight dining menu with an extensive selection of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, and of course, a great selection of sake. My favorite, however, is the aromatic kabosu drink, which is super refreshing and aromatic, of course. With post-takeoff meals, there are a Japanese and Western selection and mid-flight snacks that passengers can order anytime after the first meal visit. The Puro Ramen is the most popular choice for mid-flight snacks. Another meal with a selection of Japanese and Western choice was also offered before landing. I start off my meal with my favorite kabosu drink or lemonade with a dash of sparkling water. It's refreshing and simply aromatic. I love that ANA provides passengers with an amuse-bouche before appetizer to whet their appetite. Now, these 2 savory items certainly did the trick, making me wanting my full meal now. I went with the traditional Japanese course, which started with a sensai dish, which means little morsels of food, consisting of marinated spinach, salt grilled duck, cheese wrapped in smoked salmon, as well as deep fried yam. A kobachi, which means small bowl of jiggling sesame tofu, especially during turbulence, was also served. And an otsukuri, which means sashimi, with yellowtail being the focus, was served as well, oishi. Next came the main course of shimmered mackerel in ginger sauce, with a nice bowl of rice and miso soup. Now, the mackerel was done so well, it really hit the spot and didn't stink up the whole cabin. So this is the Asian airline, so we must have fruits after each meal, along with the raspberry brownie with vanilla sauce, which was delicious because it fits the Asian standard of a great dessert because it's just not too sweet. Okay guys, so after a meal, it's a perfect time to do a loo review. So the toilets on this Boeing 777-300 aircraft are pretty small, and there are actually 4 facilities for 68 business class passengers, so averaging around 17 passengers per toilet. So there was definitely a wait every now and then. Now it's a standard bathroom, but what I love is the Japanese style toilet. Imagine getting sprayed 30,000 feet above ground. Ah, that sensation. Now, ANA does provide pajamas to the room passengers, and it's pretty tight on me as always, especially after that meal. Now, upon returning to my seat, that's where the problem with my seat started. Now, first, I could not unplug the headset from the seat, and upon trying it a bit harder, one plug actually got stuck in there, and my super patient flight attendant, true to a Japanese style, apologized profusely and started fixing it, but to no avail. Now, since business class was all full, she could not move me to another seat, so she gave me a headset from economy class that has only one plug, so I could actually insert it in the other unclogged outlet. An A for creative solution, maybe. Giving up, I set my bed to sleep mode, which is a really wide bed when you lay it flat. Now, with a width of 35 inches and length of 72 inches, it's really the size of a twin bed. Now, the seat cushion could be a tad hard, so that flimsy mattress pad did help a bit. I turned off the lights and snoozed for the next 4 hours. After waking up, I set my seat back upright, and this was where the seat problem continued. It did not move all the way back when set up right. So as you can see, I have to manually push it back. So I sat down, not wanting to be face to face with my monitor. I used my legs to pretty much press against the footwell to push myself back. So my poor flight attendant was summoned again, and this time she and 2 other crew members tried to fix the issue. Since it took them over a half an hour to do that, we had another 5 hours flight time remaining. I did some yoga in the galley. So it was really hard to keep the pose. Perhaps I was just a bit too gaseous up in the air. Namaste. It seems they deploy half the crew on this flight to fix my seat, but unfortunately no one could do it, so I just sat back. In fact, the FA offered to turn my seat into a bed again and pretty much forced me to sleep or lie down for the remainder of the flight, which was another 4 or 5 hours to go. So I actually didn't want that, so I just sat back, trusted my good old legs to do the work and to keep myself back, and ordered some in-flight snacks. The Ippudo vegetarian ramen is definitely what you should order as the in-flight snack. It really hits the spot for long-distance flying. I also added the warm barbecue chicken focaccia as I was burning extra calories with my thigh work by keeping my seat back, that even Suzanne Summers, I think, would be proud of. The super sweet flight attendant who worked in my section kept coming back to check on me and apologized for the seat problem, and said that she felt bad for the leg exercise or leg work that I had to put in, but she also informed me that I would be moved to first suite during landing for safety reason. Now at this point I was like, why didn't you just move me to first suite after you guys determined that you could not fix the seat and there was about 4.5 hours left on the flight? So instead, she just kept apologizing and expressing how bad she felt for me for having to use my legs to keep the seat back. Now, this is why I think ANA should have an extra N added, which represents apologies nonstop, no action. Our pre-landing meal was actually served 2.5 hours before landing, and I went with the Western option of roasted chicken with porcini risotto, which was alright, but really nothing to write home about. The risotto was actually very mushy. So as communicated by the very apologetic flight attendant previously, I was escorted to the first suite, seat 2D, 30 minutes before landing. Now, the flight attendant even offered to take a picture of me while enjoying my 30 minutes of relief after 5 hours of leg exercise. Oh, bless her heart. The seat in first suite is 3 inches wider than the room, and with a seat pitch of 76 inches, it is 23 inches longer than the room. Now, the TV screen is a whopping 43 inches HD monitor, much larger than that of the room, and you can actually find the seat control panels and storage on the side of the seat. Now, the door closes, but even when it is open, you won't see your neighbor unless you lean forward. Now, at this point, I'm really hating the ANA crew for not moving me up here much sooner, given my seat issues, and there was also no other seats to reaccommodate me in business class. Such rigid Japanese service culture.
We have just landed at Tokyo International Airport. Welcome to Japan. The local time here in Tokyo is now 4:45 in the evening on 30 Celsius.
Hey guys, I've just arrived at Haneda Airport. It was a good flight. Yeah, the end was such a tease, wasn't it? But yeah, so it was a good flight. Glad to be back here in Tokyo. Now, yeah, the room is great. I think it's aged for sure, but it's great. I think the service at All Nippon is great as usual, really attentive. The seats, I think, yeah, I had some technical issues with my seat, so they were being really apologetic, but still, I think they should have just moved me to first class. Of course, that didn't happen.
So what do you think? Do you think ANA should have moved me up to first suite given my seat problems? Kindly leave a comment.